see my visor is dirty. Dirty. If you blow your engine, what would you do? Will you get a swap or rebuild the engine from inside out? It is more economical to get a shop to do a swap than to rebuild your engine. The reason I'm saying that is this: you'll have to pay for the parts at dealer price, which will cost you about, to be safe, let's say $1,500 for just parts. It could be more, it could be more or less depending on what kind of rebuild you're doing and what parts you are changing, you are replacing. And labor will also be about $1,000. So you will be in the whole $2,500 after you're done rebuilding at the shop, compared to doing a swap. You will find an engine, I believe, about $1,100 to $1,300, even lower, depending on your make and year of your bike. You spend $1,000 on a used engine, you might pay about $400 for labor, which will set you down $1,400, compared to doing a rebuild for $2,500. $1,400 is, I wouldn't say cheaper, it's less expensive than doing a rebuild in the shop. So when it comes to that, it will almost always be cost effective to do a swap in the shop. But on the other hand, if you are going to do the work yourself, the only thing you will spend on is the parts and probably some specialty tools. But if you have all the tools, usually these rebuilds don't require any specialty tool. When I did mine, I had all the tools available. So you spend about $800 on parts, and you rebuild it yourself, so you don't have to pay yourself, so you'll be down $800. But here's the trick: you could find an engine for about $800 or $900. For mine, for 2004 ZX-6R, you probably can find one right now for about $900, between $900 and $1,100. So this is where it gets tricky. Should you do a swap or do a rebuild? Personally, I would do a rebuild if the cost of the parts is going to be considerably less than spending on a used engine. Example, let me give an example. If I'm going to spend $600 on parts versus spending $1,100 on a used model, I would go ahead and do the rebuild. But if I'm going to spend $900 to $1,000 on parts and I can get a good running model for $1,100, it doesn't make sense to do a rebuild. But a good part about doing a rebuild is you get to see the insides and out of your engine, you see the condition, you know what exactly you have, what exactly you're working with. So you kind of bond with your bike, and also you have this satisfaction of knowing that you rebuild the bike yourself. So that is a trade-off right there, because getting a used engine, it's hard to tell what the condition is because you don't know how the previous owner used that engine. But when it comes to doing the work yourself, it is tricky. It is kind of tricky to decide if to do a swap or a rebuild.